Well, my friends, Mike here from Mike's Wilderness, and it is Sunday, although I couldn't even tell you the time. I'm thinking it's around 2 o'clock, but we are on Big Lake here in the Superior National Forest, just off the Echo Trail in the Boundary Waters Canoe Area, and this is the public access where you put in with whatever watercraft you have on hand. And yeah, I hope the wind isn't too atrocious, but we're having a beautiful day. The weather is just beautifully perfect, and so yeah, like I said, I have no idea what the time is, because when I arrived up here, I took my watch off, and I've been going without it ever since. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to see if this is kind of windy, and then might have to redo this front end intro. We'll see. Little ducklings, kind of nice. Mama duck sitting on the dock. Anyway, nice. Just wanted to show you guys right here at the public access. Found this big white pine with this huge scar. Who knows? Might have been a truck that hit it, or plow or something. But boy, you gotta know that someplace buried in there at some point is going to be a lot of fat wood, pitch wood. Make some really fine fire starting materials. Oh goodness, I don't know if that's coming in, but you get the idea. All right. There are many different types of ferns, but one that's in abundance around here is the Bracken Fern, which differs a little bit from the ostrich fern that we're so familiar with in the southern part of the state. But yeah, here's a small grove of them, and just thought I would feature a little bit of their structure. All right, let's keep moving. One of the things that I've mentioned quite often is how your skills will transfer from region to region. Here in northern Minnesota, up here by Ely, we find again more white yarrow, again with the feathery leaves, and as a medicinal, usable in the same way. The plant isn't any different in the southern part of the state than it is here, so same rules apply. And we just thought I had to feature that. White yarrow, wild medicinal. Good for an antiseptic and to staunch bleeding. Well, I guess there's no better time than the present to show you just amazingly how dense the forest is here in northern Minnesota, at least here in the Boundary Waters and along the Echo Trail. Sides of the roads have just thick forest growth, and it's the reason the Boundary Waters is so famous for traveling by water. It's because it was very labor intensive to cut a road through all of this, and to even do a path and to hike from one place to another, nearly impossible. You get deep into that, you get lost relatively quickly because every direction looks the same. And so I just wanted to point that out. We've got quite a bit of black spruce and lodgepole pines and birch, cedars, balsam fir, maples, just a large number of tree species here. And yeah, anyway, just had to feature this, and I'm having to fend off some deer flies at the moment. So we'll be back in a bit. One quite common sight here is these trees covered in old man's beard, and it's a type of lichen, I believe, or a moss that grows on the pine trees here, and then it dries out and it makes for a really great tinder. And so may at some point collect some of this to bring back to camp. But yeah, old man's beard. It's quite amazing stuff. Just light and thready, and lots of surface area to catch a spark. And of course, growing in abundance here, although not as large as I've seen it, but here's a small patch of burdock, and next to it, a downed piece of paper birch with a lot of good tinder on it. So, plenty of resources. Burdock, of course, a wild edible, but I don't think the roots on these are very big yet, but they'll grow into it. This pine tree has got a lot of old man's beard growing in it, and it's too high off the ground for me to even get to. But yeah, it's all over the place up here. Nothing more fun than coming across the Quaking Aspen. This is the small tooth variety. Just the slightest breeze tells you that there's cooling wind coming. I like it. Small tooth aspen, or Quaking Aspen. One thing I've seen a lot of, but no berries, is these wild strawberries. There are patches of it all over the place. But it's either past and they're no longer available, or they have yet to start to come out. And I don't know which is the case here. I've been up here in the Boundary Waters area about the same time of the year and found strawberries to eat. So, I don't know. But there you go, another edible. And then from out of nowhere, a big rock. That's taller than I am if I were standing next to it. Just, of course, there's a lot of that up here, but that one almost looks like it's been placed there for a reason. Amazing. Sometimes on the outside of some of the pines, especially white pines and balsam firs, you'll find these nodules of sap that can be used for fire lighting and things like that. If you're fortunate enough to find a running scar, then it's literally dripping with sap. And so for a minor wound or a cut or something, you could use some of this sap to help close a wound. This one's just dripping with sap. I don't have any cuts at the moment, but I have used it quite successfully. Makes your hands really sticky too. But one hint is that you can use alcohol hand sanitizer to clean your hands off. So you might be able to disinfect and seal in one move. Another wild edible you can usually never have any trouble finding. There's the cattail, and here we go in this lowland area. We got a lot of cattail. Stalks haven't come up yet, but good thing to keep an eye on. The roots, of course, right now would be very edible, and yeah, I count it amongst one of the best grasses for food. So cattails, excellent. And in the background, some more burdock, just for added measure. Two good rootstocks. Very near the cattail, I found this small grove of ostrich fern, which is different than the bracken fern we looked at earlier. And they have both varieties here. And we'd have to be able to catch it at the right time of year to have the fiddleheads, but it would be another wild edible. There's a small patch of red clover, one little pollinator there, and yeah, it's also another wild edible. Flowers are pretty tasty on a salad, and yeah, just thought to bring it to your attention. Although few and far between, there are dandelions here as well, which again, their roots are good for roasting and making, grinding and making coffee, and leaves are edible at a certain stage, as are the flowers. And there's a couple of them here, but for them to count as a wild edible, I think it would be a good one. Okay, there are also wild raspberries here, although I don't see anything of berries yet. Could be too early in the season for this far north. But yeah, they're here. Couldn't tell you if they're red or black wild raspberries, but raspberries nonetheless. Here's a beautiful dead standing paper birch with a great big opening here in the bark itself, just begging for tinder to be collected. Although I don't need any right now, but there it is. I know a few people in my group who would like some. Do some playing. There's some flash tinder on the tops of those cattail stalks from last year. They look pretty well dried out in this wind and sun, and yeah, would probably work real well. Something I'd want to gather up. Anyway, another resource. Well, my friends, I think that about wraps up today's adventure. Hope you enjoyed the trip. At least we got a quick hike in to scan for resources, find out what's in the area here in the Boundary Waters off the Echo Trail, and we'll get on with the adventure. I think it's time to get out and get wet. But thanks for joining me. This is Mike with Mike's Wilderness Channel, and sure hope you're able to get out and enjoy the weather. Be sure to get out and get dirty. Stay safe, and we'll catch you next time. Take care. Bye.